everybody, welcome to another Age of Grogu, and I've got with me today Max. Max, it's just you and me today.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jason's got family things, and Elijah is actually at DesignerCom right now, and he's kind of promoting off some of his materials and his work and that sort of stuff. In fact, I'm going to start this up because literally he just sent me this video text, so we're going to play this up here, and Elijah here. Whoop. Okay, what happened there? All right.
Hey guys, I can't make the live stream today because I'm at DesignerCon. Yay! I made it. Let me give you a quick tour of my booth. Here we go. This is my booth. Checking all the miniatures. This one is Schmicklisa Bag Taste Records in Iceland.
that's so cool.
This is the Crocodile from Seattle. This is 924 Gilman Street. Max's Kansas City from New York. And then CBGB's, also from New York. Wish you guys could be here. Glad that I made it. See you guys next Sunday.
Yeah, so I helped Elijah set that up at the beginning of the week. He set it up on Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. And then it's been open since Friday. And I got to go down after this stream, actually, and help him take it all down. So, but yeah, that's... yeah, he's really set up really well. Looks really cool. I really wanted to have a booth there this year, but I just haven't had enough to, put up and promote and stuff like that. I'm going to try that next year, though. But you should do too. I mean, how's your comic going, Max? What's been going on?
It's going well, actually. Hold up.
Yeah.
Speaking of it, I have, where is it? The first issue right here, actually.
Oh, no way. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Holy
I have
crap.
some Ashcan copies. Yeah,
Very
it
cool.
looks good. Let me actually take it out so I can show
Yeah,
it.
yeah, totally.
It's been so long. The stream hasn't been on so long. I completely forgot about this. Yeah,
Yeah. No, yeah.
it is.
Cool.
It's a real comic. Yeah, it's
So there's a very interesting
yeah.
color choices. It's very light colors, very flesh, pinky colors, stuff like that. Very light kind of toned, soft
Yeah,
pastel.
yeah.
What was the choice in that?
Well, there's right in this first book, we're exploring kind of two different parts of the world. We're exploring the bottomland, which is, a very barren kind of desert kind of
Gotcha.
area, and then there's another area which you don't really see the outside of, but you see kind of the exteriors of the dark, gloomy kind of high city where he's in a character Rio is in a prison, and things aren't
Okay.
looking good for him.
Right, right.
But
That's
yeah, it's
cool.
kind of division of colors kind of by the two different lands.
That's cool. So whereabouts are you taking this next at this point? What's the next stage? You're working on a second part, right? Part
Oh
two?
yeah, the part
two.
two only has a couple pages left to go.
Already?
Book
Damn.
three, yeah, book three is turned into the artist, great guy Mac Randrowski,
Right.
and yeah, it is. It's coming along great.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Very cool. Congrats. What are you going to do? You're going to actually, at this point, you've made X amount of hard copies, and then
I did a test print of about 25, and those are already. I'm just taking home to give my family for Thanksgiving. I have some
Cool.
copies here. I'm going to give out to some people. You'll probably have a copy or two
Oh,
coming
yeah.
your way.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, then I'm
Yeah,
printing
yeah.
out a bunch more soon.
Very cool, dude. That's awesome. And then from there, you're just going to try to get them into comic book stores and
Yep, and there's
have
gonna be a
them
digital
promoted.
release on
Right.
Substack coming
Okay.
soon. So I'll have all that info.
Yeah, we'll
Actually,
put
next
it.
couple weeks. Yeah.
Okay, when you do, we're going to put it below, and then in the future for sure. Yeah. So, what other news have you been reading about this week? What's been going on?
I just forgot everything now.
Well, shall we start about the news that we just read this morning about the Green Power Ranger?
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. The Green Power Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Jason David Frank, sadly passed away this morning.
Yeah, I was
Also, the
reading.
White Ranger. A lot of people's favorite Power Ranger. He's a great Power Ranger. He was one of those guys that was really just about that Power Ranger life, just
Right.
forever. He was always very supportive of just the brand overall,
Yeah.
and it's just a tragic loss for all those fans of the Rangers. And I grew up with Mighty Morphin, so that was kind of like he was definitely a huge part of my childhood.
That makes sense. I mean, I kind of miss that generation gap there, but I have a lot of respect for people who followed it. I never quite understood it at the time. It's the same as Pokemon. I never quite understood it at the time.
Yeah, it's weird looking back on it now, and
Hmm.
it's so. Especially, I see a lot of people buying Power Rangers comics, and
Right.
looking through it from an outside lens, I wouldn't get the appeal if I wasn't a kid.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's just these weird colored, like they're just different colored Rangers, kind of ninja inspired, doing weird stuff, and they're also high schoolers.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it's no different than, say, He-Man and the Master Universe was my kind of generation thing.
I don't know. The production quality was definitely
Thundercats and all that.
I think the big thing was the production quality is just not great, which kind of adds to the charm of it.
Fair
like
enough.
It's just some people flying around in a field.
Yeah. Oh, that's very sad. Yeah, I mean, he was only apparently like 49 or something like that, so he's still pretty young. It's just sad course of events. But moving on from that, what other things are we looking at that was going on this week? Well, actually, the last couple of weeks, I've been working these last few weekends, so we got a little bit to catch up on.
Black Panther to catch up on.
Oh yes, so let's talk about that for a second. I saw it the week and a half ago. I loved it. What do you think?
I really liked it. There was some stuff I was a little mixed on, but overall, there was a lot of really good stuff, and I thought Ryan Coogler just kind of stepped up his game to, make a great movie.
Yeah, I felt like they did not ram down your throat Chadwick Boseman's passing at all. I think they had the most perfect amount of subtlety and caring of both the actor and the character to not push it too far and still give us a really solid story, but still honor the passing of both him and the characters' deaths. I
think they really able to balance that idea of Shuri going from that comedic side character to now a traumatized lead of just someone who's very broken and wants to fix a mistake she can't fix.
Yeah,
which really I thought was a really great. Set a really good opening scene. Just set a really great tone for that.
Oh
for
yeah,
that movie.
Absolutely. It had a great tone all the way through.
And Namor was great.
Oh, the actor who played him was fantastic. I want to see a Namor film. Right now, I want to see a Namor film.
If anything, I was maybe he wasn't arrogant enough, but the fact that in his first movie he kidnapped multiple women, I was like, that's Namor. That's kind of his signature go-to move.
Fair enough. Okay. That's funny, but it was still I mean, I love the premise. I love the look and the style. The production design was incredible.
Oh, the Talcon looked great.
And the actor was
design
phenomenal.
on them was so good. I didn't even mind that they didn't call it Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean,
it felt like its own unique world.
Yeah, it did. It completely felt unique, and it didn't feel like it was kind of in any way representing the way DC was following the Aquaman story. So that's a very different stylization of Atlantis, and they did it. I don't think they even called it Atlantis, not even once in the film.
No, they tried not to, which is weird because they said our main city is Talcon, which maybe I guess they left it vague enough to say, well, the whole thing is Atlantis.
Right. Yeah,
that's fair enough. They mainly say our main city is Talcon is what I think they referred to.
Right. Well, I mean, the other thing is that the idea of Atlantis, because they have kind of made reference to an Atlantis in the MCU once or twice before in other films.
I know, that's probably why they left it a little...
To a certain degree, but you can also consider the fact that is the surface dwellers calling Atlantis, and the people who live there don't need to call it Atlantis. They can call it whatever they want. They call it home. They don't need to give it a foreign name. So I'm fine with that.
What did you think about Namor declaring himself a mutant?
That was cool. I liked it. I didn't expect that to kind of be on the table, but it seems like
he is a mutant in the comics, so it made sense. But technically, this might be a reach. I could be technically wrong about this too, but I think if the way he was created that way, he would technically be a mutate, not a mutant.
What's the difference?
Mutates are basically organically or inorganically created instead of birthed with powers.
Okay.
So his mom was ingested the heart-shaped herb. Right. And he got the powers through that. So technically, I think he could be a mutate.
Okay.
But I could be wrong about that. It's just semantics.
All right, fair enough. either way, I like the story a lot. I thought
I
it was
love the way
great.
he flew. It was.
Yeah.
Though I don't know how spoiler. Are we talking spoilers about it?
It's been out for a week and a half. Yeah, let's do a little bit of spoiler here if we.
It must have been so awkward when Namor showed up at the
Yeah.
end, and and like he's just surrendered, and then all of his people are surrounding the Wakandans about to murder them. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh man, I just surrendered.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was a very solid film. I like the little post-credit ending little scene there with.
That is kind of what I wanted. I think we do need a T'Challa eventually somewhere,
Yeah.
and I like the idea of maybe they could pull T'Challa from the future
Yeah.
and still have a T'Challa there, which
Oh,
leaves the door
that's
open
interesting.
for.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think they realize the importance that T'Challa is just a very important character overall. He interacts with too many other people and too many other worlds that having a Shuri there the whole time
Yeah.
serves a different purpose than having a T'Challa there.
Right. I was. It's interesting because the moment they did the story with I forgot her name again. Um, uh, that she was had moved away 6 years earlier or something like that.
Nakia?
Nakia, yeah. When they were talking about that, my first reaction was, "Oh, did she have a baby with T'Challa?" It literally hit my mind, and then I forgot about it while watching the film that I thought that thing. And then when they brought it up at the end, I was like, "Oh crap, they actually did." So that's why they kept the child secret and all that. So I thought that was kind of a nice little piece, though, and the kid was adorable. So
Yeah.
he had a cute little like T'Challa smile there. I was like, okay, that's cool. But yeah,
What do you think the implications are for that ending with M'Baku at the
I don't know.
waterfall?
I
A lot of
don't
people
know.
are speculating, saying maybe he's the new ruler. Did he?
Maybe.
But in what capacity? Did he show up to challenge Shuri and she wasn't there? So there's no one. So he took over, or was he fighting for Shuri?
I took that as a lightheartedness to his approach, the way he approached it in the first film, and that he was there as just a honorable mention or an honorable appearance.
But there was no one to
And
challenge him.
there was no one to challenge him.
That was the irony of that scene. Was that Shuri was out in Haiti, so there was no one to supposedly, I guess in Haiti, I guess we can say that. So there was no one to challenge him.
Right.
Which is weird because that would technically make him the ruler of Wakanda according to the rules.
Technically, yeah. I mean,
but is that what Shuri wants? Does Shuri want to have a hands-off role and just be the Black Panther and have him be the ruler of Wakanda?
Maybe we'll find. Yeah, we'll find out in Black Panther 3, I guess.
Yeah. I still think they could do a whole TV show. All I kept thinking was, I want to see a TV show of just Wakanda.
They could.
There's so much story. Yeah. I mean, Everett Ross already he's getting his own spin-off of Secret Wars. Dude.
Oh, he is in that. Okay, all right. I wasn't too sure what else. Yeah, that was cool. I like that.
He's gonna be whipped around by his ex-wife again.
Oh God, yes, Val. Oh my God. Okay, so
who saw that coming? That they were gonna be.
I did not see that coming at all. I was like, what? Ex-wife or whatever. It's like
that made me laugh.
Yeah, that was funny. That was the thing. This film had some moments of sentimental value as well as like, a few surprises still left to drop on us. So I thought it was, where does this film come in Phase 4 for you? This was the ending of Phase 4. It's
a weird ending to a phase because I feel like they, it still feels like the start of something.
Right.
That ending was a little ambiguous. They're still introducing new characters in the movie. It didn't feel like finality of a phase. It still felt like just a continuation.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't really book on the phase that well.
Right.
But it was a great movie. 10 out of 10 movie.
Yeah. I mean, in the sense of the other films that have come out to this point, though, in Phase 4, I'd say it's up there with No Way Home for me. So.
Oh, I actually liked it way more than No Way Home. I thought
you did?
Characters. Okay. I didn't love No Way Home that much, but I thought this really. I thought the characterization in this was just spot on.
Yeah.
I thought they really elevated a lot of aspects. I think Ryan Coogler, instead of trying to do his own thing, he thought, what's been done before and how can I do it my own way and try not to do it better, but try to do it more in my own way. Which
Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say that was part of the interesting thing about She-Hulk in the season finale. they kind of took this matter of saying to the audience, we understand, we're hearing what you are saying, you're tired of the same format being replayed over and over again, we're going to try to do better and make our other stuff and our other material slightly more different. And I felt like this had a different format than what we are used to from the MCU. And, you know, that the writers are starting to acknowledge that and are trying different things.
I think they're definitely experimenting more. This movie had a lot of... It felt, honestly, a lot truer to the comics, the idea of these two heroes fighting and this whole big war that doesn't get involved with a lot of military involvement, which felt very... It felt like a mini event, especially with the way it wrapped up. And it kind of was like, well, this is the new status quo, and this is what's going to happen going forward. Yeah. And that's what I liked about it. That's what I think these movies need to do if they're not going to do an extreme character study, which this movie also kind of did in a way. It did a little bit of a character study, but I think if they're not going to go that route, they should make the movie feel like something like this, like a cohesive, big event.
Yeah. I like the fact that Namor's people are also kind of still very, very quiet and very unevolved with the rest of the world, the way Wakanda was, and Wakanda became more involved, but still enough secret. So it's like this element of like we still got this hidden level of.
I like how they kind of remained hidden. That was so smart. The fact that they didn't bring a bunch of military personnel into Wakanda and. Everett Ross got away.
Which leads us also to opening the fact that and opening the doors that when the next big bad comes along, Namor and his people might very well be the key point to the key war.
I think he's gotten such good reception. It's been bonkers the reception he's got. I think people like him more than Shuri, which is I actually didn't expect. I thought Namor was gonna be such an unlikable dick, which is such his characterization, but. He was that, but in the ways people love about Namor.
In a charming way. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there was a big part to the actor, and again, I can't remember his name, but very good choice in picking an unknown or somewhat unknown.
Did you know he couldn't swim before he got the part?
No, I didn't. That's hysterical.
He said Kevin Feige asked if he could swim, and he said, "I've never drowned."
Oh, really? That's funny. Well, either way, it was great. It was awesome. Definitely a great little film there. The other thing that we got this week from Marvel, they dropped a trailer for the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Or about 2 weeks ago, I think it was now. But what do you think? I mean, it comes out Friday. It comes out this Friday.
Kevin Bacon's got to watch his ass, man. He's in trouble.
I think it was just a short trailer, but you know what? It looks fun. It looks the same element.
It's what people wanted.
Yeah, that's it. And the fact it comes out this Friday, so we're gonna have to do a reaction video. Somehow we have to figure it out. You're not gonna be in LA at the time, so
I'm gonna be in Connecticut, so it's in the morning. But I'm gonna be up waiting for this special.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, but we'll drop a reaction video to it for sure. I did read that James had posted it's about, I think he said it's about 41 minutes long. So it's not like...
Decent length,
Yeah, decent enough length. I mean, by the time you get through it, it's a good 35 minutes of story and that sort of stuff. So it's going to be fun. I mean, I'm excited to check it out. What other news that came out? Now, this was something that I saw that they... actually mentioned from the Avatar Studios. They're actually releasing a feature animated film now of the adult version in 2025.
That is awesome.
For Avatar, based around the same characters of Aang and
they have the whole crew there. Yeah, and Momo's there.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. I've only watched the series once, and I only watched it about a year and a half ago for the first time. And really got into it, really dug it, and I'm actually gonna have to rewatching that series again. It's 3 seasons, easy to get through, but
it's a great show. Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen it out there, it's totally worth the watch.
Yeah, no, totally, absolutely, and that's Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is gonna be kind of I mean, it'd be cool. I mean, it'd be cool to see on the big screen too, and it's the same guys who did the animated series. Because they parted ways with the live-action TV series that Netflix are doing. So that's always a bit
Yeah,
of a worry.
that was a bit worrying. And then they announced this. It's like, all right, well, there's two different avatars coming out: a
Yeah.
true avatar project by the creators
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
people who made it, and then the one is people who bought the rights to it. So it's
Yeah.
like, which one are you gonna go
Well,
see?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. We'll see how that plays out. Either way, I think I'm going to try to check out both things for sure. What was the other thing? This is something
Avatar Way of the Water is also coming out too, so that's three
Avatar.
Avatar things.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yes, yeah, yeah. And they dropped the new trailer for that this past week as well, which it
Yeah.
looks good. Visually, looks beautiful.
It looks visually beautiful. The plot is going to be boring as all hell. I'm calling that
You
right
know
now.
what?
There's not going to be.
I rewatched Avatar back at the theaters about a month ago with a few friends. I decided, what the heck, I haven't seen it in 12 years or whatever. I went back and rewatched it, and I actually enjoyed it the second time round a little more than I did the first time. It wasn't as boring as or as slow as I remembered it to be. I don't know if I just wasn't in the mood for it or whatever. But I never came out of Avatar originally. The James Cameron Avatar. This is. I never came out of it bored out of my mind or anything. I thought it was a very beautiful movie. I just never rewatched it again until recently. So I'm down to seeing the sequel on the big screen. It looks beautiful. It's nice color work, and I'm sure the story will be improved much than what it was before. I'm hoping. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm hoping it's good, but I don't have high expectations. I mean,
Yeah,
James
fair
Cameron's already talking about his backup plan
enough.
until if it fails,
Yeah,
which I'm laughing about. I'm like, you really do have so little faith in this movie that you're like, well, if this fails, I'm going to do Avatar 3, but this is what I'm going to do in Avatar 3.
Okay, so yeah, I'd read that. They also there was something I read recently about them keeping a very strong eye on everything. Let's see. Oh, you've been avoiding. Sorry, we were just talking about that. No, that's all right. We're done talking about Black Panther now. We kind of are going to move past that. So stick around. But yeah, we did love it. We did love the film. Yeah, sorry, back to Avatar. Yeah, Avatar 3. I mean, yeah, they're making they're making plans on the sense of whether it's going to work or fail. I mean, the toy line so far, although there's some really cool toys by McFarlane, was it McFarlane?
Yeah, McFarlane's doing them, I believe.
Yeah, there's some beautiful stuff out there in the toy stores. I don't think it's selling all that well. And I think that's a big part of
I
Disney
think
look at.
especially I think part of it though is that it's a McFarlane toy line, and then McFarlane's known for a lot of superhero toys.
Yeah.
A lot of Avatar stuff in there. It's like, who's gonna buy that? They're
Well,
kind of,
if I'll be honest,
if
if
the
I
highest price point, I mean,
yeah, but if I had the space, which I unfortunately don't, as you can see behind me, but I think they're beautiful pieces of work. I mean, the all the toys are based directly from the designs and some really nice stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I would collect it if I had the room and if I had the money to actually collect it.
I saw
but I don't,
Tom
and I don't.
McFarlane's breakdown of them a while back. Some of them get pretty big too, which are
Yeah.
cool. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I
way.
I'm not surprised they're not selling well from his line, 'cause he's mainly known for a lot of superhero stuff, and
yeah.
I feel like people who buy Todd McFarlane toys are a lot of Todd McFarlane fans. Weirdly, I feel like his fans will buy
Right.
just like a lot of stuff he does, and then he's good at selling stuff to kids.
Yeah. No, totally. And then of course there's Disney Factor, which want to try to sell it to kids, but it's not big with current children. It seems like.
That's what my cousins make fun of. My younger cousins, all they do is make fun of Avatar. They're like, the weird blue
Really?
people you guys liked. I'm like, we didn't like it that much. But they talk
It's-
about it like this
yeah.
was like it was this big cultural hit. I'm like, it really wasn't.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
an
the
Avatar mania.
technology. The technology was a big cultural hit.
I know people loved it, but it wasn't like people weren't out in the streets dressing up like avatars, or what. It wasn't like modern
no,
MCU where it was like a
No,
crazy
totally.
mania.
Oh, totally. I mean, I'll be honest. It's like I think Avatar got as big as it did and as many views as it did because there was a male streamline of people wanting to of young men who wanted to go and try to beat James Cameron's last blockbuster film, which was Titanic, which was, to be honest, granted, it was more female-based viewers than it was a male-based view. And so the guys kind of like said, we're going to have this, this movie that James Cameron's doing, we're going to make sure it beats out Titanic, and it did, in the amount of views. So I think that's the only reason it became so rewatched at the time. But after that, a couple of years later, people forgot about it. Again, I'm going to go check out this sequel, but I've got a feeling it's not going to be as strong as the original, in the sense of how much it makes in the box office and stuff like that. And if it
Yeah, I
does,
mean,
good
there's
for it.
no
but
way it makes anything close to what the first one made.
no, I don't think so either.
I don't even think it's gonna beat something like Shang-Chi or
Yeah,
like Eternals. I think it's gonna be pretty
yeah, we'll see.
lackluster.
Maybe we'll see. It has to have a pretty solid story for it to be getting a rewatching by a lot of viewers. That's for sure. And that
I'm just
may-
surprised it has a whole theme park in I think it's Disney China or France, one of
Yeah,
those two.
yeah.
They have a whole Avatar section.
Oh, for sure. No, totally. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from Avatar. Speaking of movie theaters, this is something Jason showed us last night and dropped. This is a new movie theater that's coming out in Paris called the Cinema, and it looks like terribly much like the Coruscant kind of settings from Revenge of the Sith kind of thing. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, as a movie theater going experience, it looks pretty awesome as an environment where you have your own little booth kind of thing. What do you think?
No, I think it looks like exactly where Yoda fought Palpatine.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it really.
That's all I can
look at
think
it.
about when I see that.
Yeah,
Like,
it really does.
That's where
Yeah.
they fought.
I mean, the technology and the cost going into this theater space, it better be a pretty damn good theater too.
I love how they're
I'm sure
showing
it will be.
Tron on the screen, like that's
Yeah.
like the peak movie right now.
Well, it's a image, like this is still being built, so this is more of a conceptual artist design is
Yeah,
what
no,
this
I'm
image
just
is.
kidding.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's kind of funny they put Tron on there because they are working on Tron 3, I believe. So, yeah. And then other short little bits and pieces. They dropped a Willow trailer this week for
Oh,
Willow,
right, Willow
which
comes out soon.
comes out the 30th of November in 2 weeks' time. Which I mean, I'd like to react to it. I don't know about yourself, but
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch Willow.
I'm excited to see that. I mean, I don't know if there's too much to go on except for the fact there's been a couple of featurettes online that have dropped, little behind the scene things, and as well as some extra additional scenes. I've been trying to avoid most of it because I want to come in and see what they do with this new series. But compared to the 1988, I think it was 88 movie when it came out, there was the data technology of visual effects for fantasy. So it'll be nice to see all this stuff updated, and characters of that world that I enjoyed watching become fluent in this visual world and technology. So I think that's going to be fun. Any other thoughts on Willow?
I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Hope so.
I think
Yeah.
I'm hoping it doesn't go over too many people's heads, and the fact that they just don't know what Willow is. I
There's
just
a lot
don't
of
know if it
people-
has the recognizability, the name
Oh, yeah.
recognizability that a lot of other fantasy names
Oh, you're
have
right,
today. So
Yeah.
I'm just worried not enough people are gonna watch it. 'Cause like, what the hell's a Willow?
Yeah, I mean that'll determine whether or not it gets a season 2 or not. Is the rewatchability and everything like that. So, one of the other news things that they also dropped this past week, by the way, is that
Oh yeah,
they
the
started
Acolyte.
the Acolyte. They've actually brought in the actress who played
Laura Kinney.
Laura Kinney. Yeah, who was in Logan, right?
Yep.
Is that the one? Yeah, she played X-23. Was it?
Yep.
Yeah, and so she's going to be in the series too. They started shooting this about 2 weeks ago, so I'm going to assume it's the same production quality. It's being built out at the same studio at Pinewood that they did with Andor. So
Interesting.
it'll be interesting to see what they do with this story and how different it's going to be from something like Andor, but still give us this incredible environment and wealth of landscapes that is very different to what the American eye would see of something shot out of Southern California, as we've been seeing recently. It's hard to kind of make that adjustment of what a landscape and what a real location feels and breathes like in the Star Wars universe, because we know that when you're in a real place, it just adds that extra depth of atmosphere. And so, yeah, I mean, that's still a year away at least, but that's gonna be cool. Um, yeah. What are the things? What are the things that are going on there? Oh, we didn't get the chance to talk too much about
Oh
James
yeah.
Gunn taking over DC, and I know this is kind of a couple of weeks old now, but James had basically had opened up all about about how he wants to make sure that things are still supported with what they came before, which I'm not a huge fan of. I've openly said I'm not a big fan of a lot of
I think
early
I actually think
stuff,
it's a great idea.
but
I think he's
still mold in this new this new DC universe. So.
yeah, I think they do have too many things to just get rid of. They've
Hmm.
had two Wonder Woman movies. They've had two
Yeah,
Superman movies.
yeah,
Um, they had a whole two different versions of a Justice League movie.
right.
They had Aquaman. They had a Flash who's coming out soon. And he's probably thinking, "What the hell do I do with this thing?"
Yes,
But
yeah,
they like
yeah,
they probably he has so much that you can't just decide. Well, I'm just
yeah.
gonna do a whole new Earth 3, and it's gonna
Hmm.
be that's gonna be the main universe because I think that would be I think he knows that would be the death of it. He's like, all right,
Yeah.
guys, new universe for you guys to care about. We're getting rid of everything. People would just jump
Right.
ship
No,
immediately.
yeah, I agree. And it seems like they've also got
I think he also got so lucky with The Rock bringing in Henry Cavill
Henry.
right
Yeah, I was gonna
before
say
he
Henry
got the
Cavill. Yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah,
Like right before he got the
yeah.
job, he got the golden goose of here's Superman
Hmm.
back.
Yeah. No, that was luck and persuasion and obviously a lot of focus. And it seems like
It was
that's the
actually
way
The
they're gonna
Rock
go.
going behind DC's back and
Hmm.
basically filming it on his own, which
Yeah,
how do
that's
you
what I
have to
heard.
convince DC we want Superman in this?
Yeah.
What the that is mind blowing.
They must have been able to see that the winds were changing in DC, and they knew that they could get away with shooting this anyway and have it
I
have
read
it put in.
somewhere that that's why he kept saying the hierarchy of the DC universe is about to change.
All right.
It didn't mean he wasn't referring to Black Adam. He
Hmm.
was referring to Walter Hamada,
Right.
supposedly,
Right.
saying
Right.
that this is going to be the last thing Hamada ever touches, and he's not going
Yeah.
to have, and I'm going to have final say over him.
That's funny. I mean, it's definitely power struggle within DC that was going on for a little while
Yeah,
now.
I'm
But
just glad there's not going to be a power struggle. I'm going to be
yeah,
this. I'm glad there's someone who wants to do characters that are interesting too.
yeah,
James Gunn was sharing
yeah.
characters like Mr. Terrific on Twitter, which
Oh yeah,
we've already seen live action Mr. Terrific in something like Arrow, but
yeah,
a full fledged hard boiled Mr. Terrific, and he worked great with Justice Society. He worked great with
yeah.
the Justice League. He worked
Right,
great with on his. I guess on his own, he's kind of a little weird,
right,
but he's just a great character. I think
right.
James Gunn. I think is clearly in the right direction of pushing these characters
I
that
think so
people know
too.
about
Yeah,
that are
and
just have way more story than people want to than people know about too.
yeah. I mean, I had worked with James before he ended up by working on Guardians of the Galaxy, and I remember telling me that yeah, he's a huge DC fan from his childhood. He was more DC and collected more DC comics than he did Marvel at the time. So he is very fluent in the DC universe of
Yeah,
understanding it.
that's what
It's
DC Comics
yeah,
needs.
he's not just a fluke director who got lucky at what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. He understands character. He understands the underdog of characters and how to bring them up to an A list.
I
And
also think he knows he can't do what he did with Guardians
oh yeah,
at
absolutely.
DC. Like Guardians,
Mm.
he took some relatively obscure characters who were
Hmm.
only really known at that point for their
Yeah,
Annihilation Conquest and Annihilation
right.
storylines,
Yeah,
at least those versions of those characters,
yeah,
and basically elevated them to a different level because they basically were pretty blank slates.
yeah. No, totally.
I think he knows he can't do that with DC because everyone knows DC characters. Even a
Yes,
character
yeah,
like Hawkman, people go into Black Adam already knowing.
yeah.
Like Doctor Fate, people go in already knowing who they are, the idea of
Right.
who he
Yeah,
is. It's
yeah.
DC has so many big names that he knows he doesn't need to rewrite them and give them more interesting stuff
Oh
about them because
no.
they're already established.
Yeah,
Have interesting stuff.
but they do actually had the luck, and I hate to say it, with the Flash movie coming out or not coming out. We still don't know. But the idea of a flashpoint still allows them to autocorrect a certain amount of
I don't
things.
think they're gonna autocorrect all that much. I think
Uh,
I originally it was going to, I think, they wanted to get rid of Batfleck, but
Hmm.
from what what's his Jason Momoa says, he says Batman is he
Yeah,
says Affleck is
may
back.
still be around. Yeah, but for how long?
Yeah.
I mean, again, all these characters are rewritable if they decide to change any point of them. It
I
depends on the
think
popularity of the actor.
I think James Gunn is way too smart to have a 70-year-old Batman running around being his main Batman. I think he
Oh yeah,
knows what Batman is, what he needs to be, and
yeah.
how important he is to the core of the DC
Oh sure.
universe.
Oh totally. Yeah.
I'm also hoping James Gunn is someone who acknowledges the idea of sidekicks. Marvel hates the MCU does not like sidekicks. They like
Right.
partners, they like
Yeah.
allies,
Yeah.
but they don't like sidekicks. And
Yeah.
I'm really kind of hoping
That's yeah.
he could delve into sidekicks. That's
No,
something
you're
that
right. You're right. The
it's such an
sidekicks are the
interesting.
strongest thing in the DC universe for me. I've always loved all the
Yeah. I mean,
sidekicks.
the heart of the DC universe right now is Dick Grayson. He's
Right.
basically the connective tissue to
Yeah.
everything in the DC universe.
So give
And
us a
actually,
Nightwing movie.
yeah, I
In
think,
time. In time. In time.
I think they could do something really interesting with
Yeah.
the Bat family characters
Yeah.
in general. I think those are characters that need to prioritize because they're so well known.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so weird like a year ago when DC was like, we're gonna have a Val Zod movie, and it's like, why
Right.
not? You have so many
Wonder
characters
Twins
people
and this and
knows.
that. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
Wonder
yeah.
Twins, and it's like you have
Yeah.
so many characters
Yeah.
people knows, and you're like,
Yeah.
Val Zod has cool powers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it will be interesting. I still think it's going to be a slow turnaround till they get to that point. They still need to get out, as we already know, their existing films, and it will be.
I
I'll be
think he's going
curious
to
to
come up
see how
with
they
a new
play it.
slate, and it's going to be revealed probably in the next 8
Yeah,
months.
yeah,
I'm going to guess.
yeah. I mean, I'd be curious to see how they deal with things like characters like the Blue Beetle and all that, because that stuff's
Oh, and
already
that's
still in
another. I
motion.
think Blue Beetle. There's some characters like Blue Beetle. It's just not as easy. He doesn't have to touch it. He knows it's just
Right.
going to be kind of an easy home run.
Yeah.
He has a great actor playing Blue Beetle. It's not something
Right.
that overrides the main DC. It's not going to change the landscape of the DC universe.
Right. Yeah.
Hopefully Ted Kord is in the movie. You're hearing some rumors that Ted Kord isn't in the movie, so hopefully maybe
Not sure
James
who
Gunn
that
will.
is.
He's the original Blue Beetle.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully James Gunn maybe will fix that because I feel like he's already going to be pushing those kind of silver golden age kind of characters of just
Right.
It seems like at least that's from what he's been posting on his Twitter. Is that those are the kind of characters he's going to be promoting is just not
Right. Gotcha.
the newer characters that people like, but the original
Mm-hmm.
great characters of the Justice Society and Justice League.
Well, it's going to be fun to see how the structure is reformatted over the next few years. I mean, with James at least in the helm there, and I'm not familiar with his business partner here, Peter Safran.
Yeah, I don't think we need to talk about Peter Safran. His
Okay,
track
okay,
record
so
is a little.
really,
He's a few good things. I'll say he's a
Okay.
few good things, but
Alright.
he's also done Scary Movie
right?
and stuff like that. So it's not
But that's stuff
exactly.
that, yeah,
It made money. Or the
Yeah.
first couple made
Yeah.
money, but it's
Yeah.
not exactly the most highbrow stuff. It's not someone you look
Yeah.
for. Where you say, "Where are you gonna make? Who's gonna make the most interesting movie?" You wouldn't give it to him. to
But it's
Peter
not just
Safran.
movie; it's the animations as well. They're both in control of both the movies and the animation. And speaking of the animation, I'd be damned if I don't mention this. Good God, we lost Kevin Conroy this past week.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. Rest in peace, the greatest Batman of all
The
time.
only Batman, and people think Adam West is the best Batman, but the reality is Kevin Conroy is the best Batman. And
He's the-
what
he is
what
the-
a loss! What a
Yeah.
loss! That man has voiced since my 20s, Batman, and he's the only voice I can think of and hear when I hear Batman speaking in anything from comics to whatever. It's if it's not his voice of being Batman, I get his voice overlaid onto another voice because that's the only Batman voice I can hear in my head. Such a sudden and great loss. Hey there, Anchorman. How's it going? Such an incredibly talented voice actor. I mean, there was tributes from all over the place being poured in from all of the talent, from Mark Hamill to Michael Rosenbaum to Eric to
Very strong.
every all the actors who work with him on the Justice League animated series, because he continued to that, of course, and beyond that. But it's just such a great loss. That's all I can say about Kevin Conroy. I never got the chance to meet him either, which was like a sad thing. I really wanted to meet him at some point, but never got that chance. Did you meet him or at a convention?
No,
Yeah.
I saw him at a distance at New York Comic Con when
Oh,
I was a
really?
kid, and I was like,
Uh,
"Oh man!" The line was like a half mile long,
I'm sure. Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
just kind of
Yeah.
saw him from a distance. So that's cool enough for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah.
Same with Peter
So.
Mayhew. Peter Mayhew was right around
Oh
him.
yeah.
Like, oh, that guy played Chewbacca, and then I
Oh,
just
and
kind of
I never got that close either to Peter, unfortunately, to see him at all. Speaking of Star Wars, this little fellow dropped this week, jumping over from DC to Star Wars now for a bit.
yeah,
Grogu and the Dust Bunnies. Yeah. What'd you think? It was short.
the animation was beautiful.
Yeah.
The art was amazing. The story was
Was there a story? It was. It
the
was.
story was
It
somewhere
was.
else.
It was very zen, wasn't it?
It was very zen, I
and
guess.
and
Grogu killed nothing.
yeah, that's it. And they of course used the soundtrack from Gordonson. I can't pronounce his
Ludwig
last name.
Göransson.
Ludwig Gordonson. Yes, Gordonson's music. I'm terrible with his last name. And it was beautiful. I mean, it was a lot of the stuff we'd heard in Mandalorian. It's fine. It was cool. But it was very zen. I'm hoping this is just a tester for this animation company and others to be able to do a lot more stuff and not just in visions, but
I think this is a
other.
test
Yeah.
for Lucasfilm and Disney collaborating with other
Yeah.
production companies worldwide to see if they can churn
Yeah.
out other Star Wars non-canon material.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe Gendry Tartakovsky will one day get back to Star Wars.
Maybe. That'd be cool. Actually, that'd be pretty awesome.
He just did Primal, which was very well received. I would not be
Oh, yeah.
surprised if he got an offer like, "Hey, man, you want to do animated short? Doesn't need to be canon. You can do whatever you want."
Yeah. No, we were just talking about Black Panther 2 earlier. We don't want to go into too many spoilers right now, I commend. But yeah, it was an amazing piece. So we talked about that right back at the beginning there. But yeah, we both enjoyed Black Panther 2 and consider it the best of Phase 4, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely a high point.
Yeah, it was definitely a good one. Yeah. Moving on. I'm gonna leave that till next week. What was the other thing? So we've got two last sections I want to hit up on. One, we got some images dropped for
Oh,
Indiana
yeah.
Jones 5. From
Harrison
Empire
Ford looks a little
Magazine.
over it in that picture. I think, look, if you zoom in on his face,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just take the picture already, kid.
Yeah, he likes leaning on walls though, doesn't he? It's like whether he's Han Solo, or, like he loves to lean on things. That's all.
I think it's just he doesn't want to stand.
Probably. I mean, come on, he's
I'll do
getting
this
old.
scene sitting down.
He's getting old, but damn, he looks awesome as Indiana Jones. I am so
He looks
excited.
great as it. But what is
Yeah.
his story going to be? Where he's going to be like, ugh, just like punching people like it's 70 years old.
Well, he went and pulled his muscle out, his arm out apparently of his
I
socket
know.
when he was
That's what
off.
I'm
He was
saying,
upset
like-
for 2 months because of it. He was practicing some
The
stunt
story
moves.
better be it's very sad that this old man thinks he could beat up 20-year-olds.
Well, I mean, look at this though. This is one thing I wanted to point out. In the image there, he's still got his wedding ring on. So
Interesting.
it means that Marion Ravenwood, I'm hoping, is still around. He got married to Marion Ravenwood in Indiana Jones 4. So I
Does that
don't know
mean
if she's.
Shia LaBeouf is still gonna be around?
I don't think he has any appearance in this.
I think
I
it's a
don't know
little
if they'll
too
make
controversial touch right now. They were
Probably,
just,
probably. I think there's no
leave him
reason
out.
to follow that story arc. I'm more curious to know about where
I would
is
laugh if
Marion
they kill him
Ravenwood.
off screen.
Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe he gets attacked in a bar fight or something. I mean, he seems like the kind of 50s kid
Right.
who would get himself, punched in the face or something. But I don't know. I mean, this film's supposed to take place in the '60s as well, late '60s, I'm guessing. We've also got our first look at Mads Mikkelsen as I'm gonna assume
Definitely
playing
looks like an evil German guy.
he looks like an evil German guy. I mean, people are complaining. I've seen people complaining this last week about Nazis in the '60s. Like, please, Nazis unfortunately have never lived, and the fact is they were even worse.
That's
They
not.
were all the people who escaped Nazi
Yeah, I was
Germany.
about to say that's not that many years later.
And yeah,
Like,
it's not that many. Like, it's
think
like
about the Nazis
yeah,
running around now. Think about how
yeah.
the original ones are
Yeah,
still
are
running around
still
back
running
then.
around. I think there's a great set of stories for Indiana Jones to take place within a post-Nazi world using ex-Nazi scientists and soldiers and all
Is it
that.
early
There's
'60s or is it going to get into like Cold War stuff?
I'm not too sure exactly. I mean, I don't know how much they're gonna delve into anything. I mean, it really the story's quite quite out there kind of thing. But this is another image. I can't remember the actor's name here, but just another character,
Who is that? I
another
have no
shot.
idea who that is.
Yeah, I forgot the name. I saw it at one point, but these are the
I'm going to
images
guess that
released
scene
from.
takes place in America.
Yeah, I'm guessing it does. But it's yeah. These are the images that Empire Magazine have dropped so far. The magazine gets dropped on the 24th later at the end of this week, so I'm going to definitely be picking that up. Um, and what was the other thing? And then Mangold also teased that there will be a trailer within the next
Within the
month.
next month. So,
Yeah. So
does
I'm
he
gonna.
mean the next 30 days or does he mean by the end of?
No, I think he means within the next month. I think there's one particular film coming out in December that it might be attached to being connected to Disney, but we'll have to wait and see about that. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I just
so,
saw the menu. It definitely wasn't connected to that.
oh right, no. They'll release it. They'll release it very soon. We'll get it before Christmas, I'm sure, or by at Christmas at the latest, kind of thing. There's also a little note up there. Variety kind of pointed out that Disney might be eyeing an Indiana Jones TV series.
I imagine Disney is speculating on literally all their IPs right
Possibly,
now.
possibly,
So
yeah,
I would not be surprised. I think it's
yeah.
just one of those things in the ether where they're like, we own it. We'll see what we can do. Harrison
Oh, for
Ford
sure.
really doesn't care.
Yeah,
Does Lucas and Spielberg care? Does anyone else
right.
care? Does
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where it's
yeah.
is this too sacred to touch? We've already done Young Indiana Jones, but that was a
Oh,
little
yeah.
different in a different vein.
Yeah, no, which I've got them all on DVD. In fact, that was a great little series, and that actually
Yeah,
brings up the. I enjoyed it because it took place
yeah.
of Indiana Jones going on an adventure between the ages of 9 and 16, and he would meet different characters in each episode from history and interact with different people within history before they either when they were famous or you know before they became famous kind of thing. And I actually enjoyed it as a series. I thought it was a great little series, but I'm sure they'll keep it on more on the action adventure genre if they redo a new Young Indiana Jones
I
kind
think
of
they should
vibe.
get the actor that played young Solo in Solo
Oh,
to play.
Olin Emmerich, yeah,
Yeah, they should play him.
that could work.
That'd be really funny if he's just
Yeah,
Indiana Jones too.
that could work. That's funny. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the world needs a Young Indiana Jones series. I say that now, but I'll probably watch it if they do.
It's weird. I think he has more. I feel like I want to see more of him. But how many adventures can this guy have before you're like, how are you not dead?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Why are you still a school teacher? And how have you not
Yeah.
like? I feel
Yeah.
like eventually, if you do too much with the character, the math's not going to add up.
Yeah, that's the point. But then again, they also jump like a year between stories, and or several years between stories. We've got
Well,
this
that's the thing.
entire
It's like
yeah.
that's. I always suspected like he didn't go on big adventures every year. Like it had to be like
No,
every couple
yeah,
of years. Like
yeah, maybe it depends. I mean, again, I liked how the George Lucas Young Indy Chronicles, Sean Patrick Flannery played young Indiana Jones. At the age of like 16 to 18, I think it was, and they did some really great stories in World War One. It was some interesting kind of historic slash you know more educational kind of storytelling. And that also brings to question: are we ever going to see this? All these shows at one point were owned by, including the movies, were owned by Paramount Pictures. So I
yeah,
don't know who ends up with the rights to Indiana Jones, even though
I
Lucasfilm
think
sold
Disney.
Disney everything. But we haven't got Indiana Jones dropped on Disney yet.
I think that's one of the things that happened is though they didn't. That was before the time of streaming rights being a different thing than film rights.
Yeah.
So Disney might have just been grandfathered in the streaming rights too.
Yeah. So I'm sure it's all there on paperwork somewhere in Disney, specifically who owns what in Lucasfilm, but I'm hoping that they will get to drop the Indiana Jones franchise movies, soon, because it feels like it's the kind of thing they'll want to drop in 2023 prior to the release of Indiana Jones 5. And then also release all the other Indiana Jones material. I mean, the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. People have not seen these shows for like 20 years.
It's been a pretty forgotten show if you weren't the one that I'm talking about every week.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what people's thought process is of these shows. As I said, I bought them when they came out on VHS, and then I bought them again when they re-released on DVD, but that was as far as they ever got released on. Was DVD, and there was such a short, limited release that nobody really knows about them. So, I want to see what people's thoughts are on that kind of stuff. I enjoyed them. I thought they were great for the time. But yeah. Any other thoughts on Indiana Jones, apart from the fact it comes out next year, and I think we're all excited for Indy 5?
I just want to know what the story is. I'm like, what could get a 70-year-old man off his couch and be like, all right, guys, we're going on an adventure? Like, I just want to know how juicy this artifact is that like Indiana Jones at this age is like, we're going.
Same. I mean, I know
it's got to be the fountain of youth.
Yeah, very. I don't know. Possibly, I don't know. I mean, we do know there is some de-aging of some sort because there was photos that got leaked with Harrison Ford with all
I
the
think that's
spots
just
over
going
his
to be a
face.
flashback.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be.
But if it was the fountain of youth, that would be hilarious.
Nah, I feel like that's a flashback moment. It feels like we need to see Indiana Jones at his prime and give us a little bit of... Like, that was the one thing about Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. We got to see Indiana Jones as a child, and then it jumps forward to him being an adult. And that was the premise behind Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, I think, was the fact that it actually allowed them to do the Young Indy Chronicles, recasting a different actor, of course. But... it still was like...
do we know who Indy's companion is this time?
I think it's... you know what? I'm not too sure. But I think... I know that... what's her name? Is playing in the film. I forgot her name. Wait, I now got to find this here in a second. She's from Fleabag. Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Oh, Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah,
that's pretty age appropriate for.
Yeah. I don't know if she is actually the sidekick or she'll be the Indiana Jones female companion, I'm sure, for the film. So there's no word about actress who plays Marion Ravenwood. I don't know whether she's in it or not, or they'll give her a cameo or anything like that. But I would hope that she does get a moment in the film. But I hope she's not dead, because I like Marion Ravenwood. But either way, we'll find out. Yeah. But anyway, again... Yeah, the Indiana Jones 5 trailer will happen. Hopefully it'll give us a release name for the actual title of the film in that trailer too.
Yeah, I hope it's not Indiana Jones 5. I hope it's like... Well, they probably will be, like Indiana Jones and whatever they're going after.
Maybe they'll... hopefully they will, but maybe they'll wait until next year before they release their actual trailer, before they give us the title of the film. Maybe, who knows? We'll find out. Either way, I'm looking forward to finding out. So let's jump quickly on to Andor then. We haven't caught up with the last few weeks of Andor, but this week's episode had probably one of the most tear-jerking scenes. It was freaking from a droid. Oh
yeah, that was the sad part of Andor.
Yeah, when Marva passed away and Tubiimo kind of they shot through the eyes of the droid. I think it was just it was really impactful. I was like, wow. I mean, this is kind of up there for Star Wars getting that emotionally attached to a droid. I love how all of Star Wars, whether it's a Dave Filoni Star Wars or a George Lucas Star Wars or whatever, has given us droids that are completely unique and different to the other droids that we've seen with their emotions.
Yeah, especially personality-wise and
Yeah.
look-wise. They really do a good thing of no two main companion droids are the same.
Yes. Yeah.
Even if there's been some evil versions of them out there in the world, like
Yeah.
evil BB-8 or evil, there's evil R2-D2 and C-3PO in the comics.
Yeah.
But even each droid has its own personality and makes it
Yeah.
just unique enough to feel like its own person.
Yeah. It was a good episode. It's the second last episode, so we got one more. We'll be doing a reaction video to this week. I'm curious to know where this season will end. Obviously, it'll end at Ferrex, but will Andor escape the Empire? Will he be captured again? It seems unlikely he'll be captured again, but
I would be
who
pretty
knows?
disappointed if he goes to jail again for whatever
Yeah,
reason. I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
I'm hoping they link the storylines with Saw Gerrera and Andor.
Well,
I
and
thought
Mon
it was-
Mothma. I'd like to see
and
Mon Mothma.
yeah, and I'm hoping those storylines link this by the end of the season because it just felt so weird how they never met up. The storylines, at least, not the characters, but
Yeah.
the storylines didn't. Like, you see the events, like how the ripple
I agree.
effects, how they affect each other, but you wouldn't really see how
Yeah.
the characters would.
I mean,
Interact,
maybe
yeah.
we don't see that. The idea is still at this point in time
Yeah, I
is
think
that various
you're not-
cells have not met other various cells. But it would seem, and it would feel a little empty as a season finale, that if these characters do not meet up at the same time. So who knows? I mean, maybe they do, maybe they don't. It's been a beautifully done series. I don't know if it's my favorite of all the series, but it's definitely a beautifully
Yeah, I
done
mean,
series.
I've been back and forth with that. I think if the plot was a little thicker, I would like it more. But the plot is just, there's been some great episodes, some great
Oh, yeah.
character moments, some really
Yeah.
great just story moments.
Which is what
plot
Tony
of-
Glory does
yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, but the plot of the overall show just hasn't been that
Yeah.
thick in terms of like, well, then this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And
Mm-hmm.
we're still talking about Aldani and the ripple
Yeah.
and the ripple effects of Aldani. It's like, but we actually haven't really seen the ripple effects besides the
Right.
prison, and they've
Yeah.
just been talking about it. They've just been
Yeah.
like, Aldani this, Aldani that, but
Yeah. It's
we
all
haven't
been
seen,
off
like,
screen.
Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen stormtroopers deployed to multiple planets looking for various cells or anything. They're just
Mm-hmm.
really bummed about Aldani.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm still trying to understand Cyril's character at this point. It's like
That's
I
the
thought
other
he,
thing.
I
He's
feel
doing
like
nothing. He's just
he-
upset.
Yeah, I feel like he's slowly moving, but he's so slowly moving that it's like I'm almost forgetting about what his character's purpose
I think
is.
this last
and his
last
motivation.
episode will define if he's a brilliantly written character or
Or
a
he gets killed.
poorly written character.
Well, I
I think if
don't
he
know.
gets killed, it would be a pretty poorly written character to do
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
nothing the whole show and
Who
just
knows?
say, "I want to help, try to help,
Yeah.
and die."
Maybe
Like, I mean,
we'll see. We'll
it'd be
see.
a pretty interesting statement about the Empire. They don't even help the people that want to help them, but
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like it's production quality's been amazing in this show, and it definitely is some of the best stuff that we've seen from Star Wars. At the same time, it is not my most interested of storytelling. I'm definitely more for the Mandalorian style of lightheartedness and a little bit of silliness and a little bit of over
well,
the
even
top
the
and heroes
Mandalorian has a
turning up.
lot more story going on.
Right? Yeah, you're right.
And a lot more,
And it moves
a lot
faster,
more
too.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even just about like, I don't think it's even about pacing. I think you learn, like, I still don't know that much about Andor, even though they told us so much about him.
Right.
I feel like I know more about Din Djarin, and he's supposed to be the mysterious one.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, actually, there's two things I wanted to point out. First, there was a scene that we saw in last week's episode which showed this a Mayan calendar.
It was a cheap prop. They definitely found like a Goodwill or something, and they were like,
I don't know
"We spray
about that.
painted gold. It looks Star Warsy."
It wasn't even like it's not even. Yeah, I guess it's a little gold. No, it's very well known that this is a Mayan calendar. It's like maybe the Mayans were well beyond their.
I still think it's it could be a tie-in to when there's a comic where Han and Chewie die on Earth,
Okay.
and
that's
they
terrible.
crash land. I know they crash land on Earth in the Mayan period, and
Ooh.
and then it cuts to like years and years later. Indiana Jones finding the
Oh,
Millennium
really?
Falcon.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it's the weirdest way to end a
This.
comic where you're just like,
Oh, God.
what is happening? What is? Yeah.
Oh, my God. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, okay.
But I think
Stranger
it's a
things have
reference to
happened, but
that. Reference to that, but
fair enough. Fair
who
enough.
knows?
Fair enough. The other thing I wanted to point out, and this became apparent, I was reading some Twitter information this week, and people were kind of piecing this together. Luthen's character, he's been carrying around this little hand weapon that is being, represented as being, I believe it gets represented as a dagger. I've seen an image of a dagger being pulled out of it. But he's also been kind of carrying around this as well. Is
Yeah.
Luthen an ex-Jedi Knight?
I don't
And
think so.
well, no, I say this. Listen, think about this. He's obviously disgruntled, to this point of the Empire taken over, but he's been able to get in and out of places without being recognized or without being seen. He's able to escape and elude. If you had Force-sensitive skills, you'd be able to escape these things if you once were a Jedi and had.
That's true. I mean,
Even though Obi-Wan Kenobi suppressed his Jedi, and same with Ahsoka and all that, the idea is that they'd still be able to use and sense things in very light Force skills. And the fact that he has a
would that
weapon
make
that is
Mel
very, very
also
symbolic of a
Force-sensitive?
lightsaber, and very symbolic the fact that he'd have a blue kyber crystal. I mean, was he part of the Jedi Order at some point?
I always kind of felt like the blue kyber crystal kind of symbolized, what the Jedi used to stand for, which is why
Yeah.
it was unbroken and not in the lightsaber. It was
Right.
in one whole piece and still intact.
But we've seen
waiting
this
for those
weapon.
Jedi to
We've
return.
we've seen this thing twice. They even specifically mentioned it last week with when he hands it over to Saw Gerrera. That's not a toy or whatever he says. It's like that's a very focused kind of piece of conversation to have on
I mean,
this item.
there
that
are other
he wants
kyber
it back.
weapons too, though.
Right, yeah, but it's still interesting that it's very focused. The fact that he also has an entire like museum which has got a lot of
Well, that's
Jedi
what also makes me
artifacts.
doubt. That's what makes me doubt it. Is I
Really? No.
know,
See,
I don't think a Jedi would be so materialistic to gather all those items.
maybe, but what a perfect cover! I mean, what a perfect cover to hide, yourself behind.
He
by
can't be a
having-
Jedi. He's clearly rich.
That's it. That's it. I mean, maybe who
That is a
knows?
pretty good
You
cover.
don't know. He could have used the Force to
It's like
rob a
he
bank.
hangs
I
out at
don't know.
brothels. It's like Jedi can't form attachment.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you were to escape the Jedi Order, what better way than to actually become the things you're not?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me that there's a possibility that Luthen might have be revealed as once was a Jedi Knight. And the other thing is that we know that eventually Ahsoka Tano takes over the idea of being Fulcrum. So to have another Jedi replace a ex-Jedi or who knows? I don't
Ahsoka
know.
had a cameo in the last episode. I think a
I
lot
doubt
of people
that.
would be really mad.
Oh
but
no, she won't. She doesn't.
Yeah.
She wouldn't appear as a Fulcrum agent till much later. And I think she's more connected through Bail Organa than she is through Mon Mothma at the time, anyway. So.
Did you ever think Mon Mothma was going to get this much development as a
Oh
character?
God, no! And I love every second of it. In fact, she's the
What are
most.
they going to do Akbar? I think they should do Akbar next.
Maybe
He's an
maybe-
admiral. He's
maybe-
definitely done some cool stuff.
Yeah, maybe he'll turn up. But the thing is, they've been very underwhelming with aliens. I think we saw the most amount of aliens this past
Yeah,
week
they're
that
not
we've seen
touching
in.
other aliens. But I think Akbar actually probably could have a cool story, considering he's pretty high up on the rebel food chain. Like
Yeah.
he's definitely been around for a while. He's been publicly active.
Yeah, I feel like he's still another faction that's out there that hasn't been brought into the fold. And obviously,
Yeah,
they're
no,
not
I
going
would
to
love
deal
to
with the.
see maybe like a season later they bring in the Mon Calamari and the,
Yeah.
I just love the Mon Calamari, but
Oh
Akbar
yeah, me
would
too.
just be
Yeah. Or even Admiral
on the
Admiral Radis from
Radis
Rogue One.
too, yeah.
I like that character as well. I thought he was a very, very cool, honorable character. I think we'd see Admiral Radis over Admiral Akbar beforehand.
I don't know. I think Akbar would be. He's such an iconic character that has that
Oh,
line, "It's
sure.
a trap."
Yeah.
But I also think there's definitely you know, he didn't get a good send off at all. His
Yeah.
death in universe death was horrible. I think
Yeah.
he's one of those
We'll
characters
see.
like Mon Mothma who had just like kind of a brief part in those movies, but there's
Yeah.
definitely like he's been around with these people for a while. He was the heart of the rebellion.
I think we'll see those
Not
characters
in
pop up
person,
in season
but-
2, but definitely not season 1. I mean,
Yeah, no, not
it's-
season 1. I think
yeah.
eventually though, I think he would be a great addition to
yeah.
this kind of show. Plus, I don't think there's anyone attached to playing Akbar right now, so they
Yeah.
can kind of get
Yeah.
anyone.
They probably could, yeah. Either way, it's you know, we've got
They
the
can get
season
Chris
finale.
Hemsworth like Akbar,
Yeah.
just a buff Akbar.
Well, maybe not. I heard that he's retiring temporarily
Yeah, he
from acting
is.
for
I forgot about that.
yeah, he had he's getting some health checkup stuff apparently. There's some things going on that he needs to get taken care of, so he's putting a hold on acting for a short time until he can get himself helped out kind of thing. So it's I think I can't remember what it was exactly, but
It was it's basically predisposition to get Alzheimer's.
Oh, that's what it was,
What
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so he's getting checked out to make sure he can get treated properly and have the time to get treated. Anyway, I'm actually gonna have to head off pretty soon because I have to help Elijah go down to Anaheim and to help him strike down the set at the end of the day that he's got his set up for. So yeah, Max, thanks for joining me. Jason, as I said, couldn't join us today, but it was a fun little chat. We had a lot to kind of catch up on and talk over. This coming week, we will be doing the season finale reaction video to Andor. We will be doing a reaction video, I'm sure, to the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special on Friday, which will drop. And everybody out there, happy Thanksgiving, and same to you, Max. Have a safe flight home to your parents, and trip home there. And
Well, I should see you on Tuesday for Andor first.
so we will. That's it. We'll be talking about that first. Yeah, and we will do all that. And everyone out there, thank you for joining us. Max, thank you for joining us today, and we shall catch you all later. So see you later, guys.